Welcome back. Two Coral Gables educational institutions have taken up international humanitarian efforts. On one hand, we have a Coral Gables high school student who is trying to lift children out of poverty by giving them computers. On the other, the University of Miami opens its doors and arms to victims of an earthquake-ravaged city in Italy. We start with the Coral Gables high school student with a mission that has taken him to some of the poorest areas in Mexico. Hector Mariano Lopez is bringing technology into the lives of children who are hungry to learn, and he joins us here today with more on his charitable organization, Digital Conviction. Thank you so much for being here, Hector.
Thank you.
So tell me about how this came about. How did you, I mean, you're 17 years old. It's not something that normal 17-year-olds would be doing, going to other countries and lending a hand. Tell me how you got started on that.
Well, it started about 3 years ago with my brother and my dad. My dad was telling us about Univision, the company he works for. They were going to completely change their computer systems, and they had to throw out 40 computers. So we decided that we could use those computers because they still worked, and we could take them to children that might benefit from technology like that.
So how did you decide that it was Mexico, it was this area in Mexico, and tell me where it is in fact in Mexico?
We took the computers to the mountains of Oaxaca, Mexico, which is in the southern area by the Yucatan Peninsula. The reason we chose that area is because this is an area that is mostly habitated by like indigenous people, and a lot of them don't even speak Spanish. Some of them still speak the native tongue, and usually the government kind of forgets about them. They're up in the mountains. They don't really play a big part politically, so they're kind of like the most forgotten people from Mexico that would benefit the most from it, and they're also usually the poorest because they stay within their small villages.
So how are these computers helping? And we have some pictures that you brought which show how there's a structure that's been set up for the computers to house the computers.
Yeah.
And you guys took them over there with some of your friends, and they seem really interested. A lot of people showed up for that.
Yeah, it was actually the whole town showed up. We had their band played to welcome us. Everyone like dressed up in their best clothes, and they would parade us through the town. They would put like shows on for us because this was like a really big thing. That some of them had never even seen computers. They had maybe one telephone for the whole town. And like the things that the computers connected them to was like things they'd never seen before. Even if it was just like pictures of animals they'd never seen, like an elephant, they had never experienced that before.
So how does this experience, being from Coral Gables and going to school here and being just from South Florida, how did that experience change you? When you saw these people gathering for you, how was that for you?
Well, when I lived in Mexico, I had experienced poverty, but I lived in the city, so I didn't really experience the way the indigenous people lived. And the difference was that these people did want to get out. They wanted to learn. They were interested in what was out there. They didn't really want to be suppressed anymore. So as soon as we took the computers to them, they all like jumped on board. They came, like they started taking classes. They would show up early so we could like teach them extra stuff, or stay late so we can, I don't know, show them stuff on the encyclopedia that they've never seen before. They really took the incentive to educate themselves, even though the government hadn't given them like the resources they needed to.
So how are these computers helping them now to better themselves?
Well, when we went, we spent a week living with them and teaching them the basics. I mean, depending on their age, the teenagers learned how to use the internet to find like to research and find reliable sources, and the younger students, we were just teaching them to type. Mm-hmm. But at the end we had the teenagers do research projects, and they came up with really good stuff. Like one of them came up with an idea on getting rid of their garbage, because usually before they would kind of just throw it in the river and it would magically float away, but obviously this wasn't the best solution, so they started setting up actual bins, and then they would collect the trash in one area, and that way they could keep it outside of the river, because that was like their sources of subsistence, where they would get like their food and everything.
Wow. Tell me about your next project. This is something that you did initially, but now it's grown and where a lot of people want to help.
Yeah.
Where are you planning to go next, and how much help do you need?
Well, we decided to try and take this like to international levels. I mean, we've helped out a lot in Mexico. There's several towns there. But obviously this isn't a problem that's just in Mexico. It's in a lot of parts of Latin America. So for our next destination, we decided to take it to Nicaragua and hopefully set up a center there. We're about $7,000 short, because we needed about 10 computers for each center, the satellite internet. There's a lot of costs we had to set up, like make sure there's electricity and everything.
Yeah.
So
that's what you're working on now, getting computers and the money to be able to provide that center in Nicaragua. So you have the location and everything that you want to go to?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job trying to educate the people of the world. And you have help with your brother. Your brother and you started this this organization, what, 2 years ago, or was it? Or a little
it
bit
was
more?
in 2006.
Okay. And so, are your friends helping now? Do you get them involved?
Yeah, last time we took 2 new volunteers with us, and they stayed with us for a week. And hopefully now when I go to college and graduate this year, I'll bring in new people from my school and maybe pass the organization on to a teacher that can supervise it and get the students involved.
And leave it in Coral, because we forgot to mention that Hector is a student at Coral Gables High. So you're hoping to keep that organization at Coral Gables High, just give it to a counselor there,
Actually,
or to a college?
I'd like to keep it within high school students.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'd benefit most from the experience.
Okay.
And they seem like they would have more time for it than a college student.
Yeah.
But right now it's not just Coral Gables. Like the last 2 people that went with us on the last trip were both from different schools.
Okay.
One was from Reef and the other one was from Reagan.
Okay.
So I mean, it's good to keep it in Miami, and I think it really benefits high school students, like as an experience they can take on to college.
Thank you, Hector, and we appreciate all your help for the children all around the world. And for more information on this organization and how you can help, you can go to digitalconviction.com.